Have you ever had a creative idea, like a really specific vision, maybe for a project or something, and wondered how you'd even begin to make it real?
Mm.
Especially when it feels like you need to capture a whole mood, maybe something like neon dreams and data streams. Well, today we're going to dig into exactly that with Project Gibson. It's this custom WordPress theme, and honestly, it's a fantastic look at taking a very, very specific creative vision and just meticulously bringing it to life through code.
Yeah, and what's so cool about Project Gibson, I think, is that it wasn't just, build a website. It was about capturing this very specific mid-90s cyber cool feel. Think like the movie Hackers.
Oh, totally.
It was built for a user, Atari, and right from the start, the goal was nailing that character, that vibe, not just making something that, worked.
Right. So our mission today is basically to unpack some of the tricky bits, the challenges they hit, and the really clever solutions they found to build this secret digital fortress, as they called it. And maybe see what that tells us about, making creative ideas actually happen through collaboration. Okay, so setting that scene, that whole retro-futuristic atmosphere, where do you even start? What was like the first visual hook you had to get right?
Definitely the background. That was foundational. We went with this really striking radial gradient. You have to picture it deep black in the middle, and it just smoothly fades out to this vibrant fuchsia and like electric purple.
Oh, wow.
And it's fixed, right? So as you scroll, it's always there, kind of enveloping you. It immediately gives you that feeling of being pulled into some kind of digital space.
Yeah, that really sets the stage. So what else built on that? What amplified that feeling?
Well, the neon box shadows definitely helped. Putting those around elements immediately gave it that sort of secret digital fortress feel we were after.
Right, that glow.
Exactly. And then the fonts, oh man, we hunted for the right ones. Infinity Formula and Grudblitter, they just scream 90s tech aesthetic. And for efficiency, this was key. We used CSS variables for the main color palette. So if Atari was like, maybe tweak the neon green a bit, it was one change, not hunting through 50 lines of code.
Smart.
No.
So you've got the atmosphere, the fonts, the colors managed. But you mentioned this fortress idea. How did communication happen? I heard about these dialogue boxes.
Yes. The dialogue boxes, they were absolutely central. The idea was to make them look exactly like those old mid-90s instant messenger windows.
With the title bars and avatars and everything.
Exactly. Avatars, title bars, the whole deal. The challenge, though, is how do you make something that complex, HTML-wise, easy for Atari to actually use in the editor?
Right, without needing to code it every time.
Precisely. So the solution was using WordPress shortcodes, like Celesta Dialog and Atarialog. Atari could just type that shortcode, add the text, and boom, a perfectly styled dialog box appears.
Clever.
We did hit a small snag at first, with some extra editor buttons cluttering things up from another plugin, but we streamlined that pretty quickly to just one clear button. Cleaner.
Okay, that makes sense for usability. But what about the visual details within those boxes? I heard there were some specific puzzles, like getting the avatars right.
Oh, yeah, the avatar. Funny story. My first attempt used border radius, 50%. Standard CSS for a circle.
Of course, makes sense.
But no, Atari wanted that chunky, square 90s pixel look. So, quick fix, border radius, year or two, or maybe just a tiny 5% curve, instantly got that blocky feel.
Little details matter.
They really do. And then getting Atari's messages on the other side of the screen like a real chat. We use Flexbox, specifically margin left auto and margin right auto for centering, but the key was flex direction. Row reverse.
Just flips the order.
Exactly. It neatly pushes Atari's bubble to the right. Celeste stays left. Simple, but effective.
And the title bar had its own little quirk, didn't it?
It did. That was a classic CSS puzzle. See, the title bar naturally sat inside the main Windows border, leaving this awkward little padded gap.
Yeah, I can picture that. Looks weird.
It does. Now, you could fiddle with padding, but that often messes up other things. So the solution, which felt pretty ingenious at the time, was negative margins.
Negative margins. How did that work?
We put negus 3px, margin top, margin left, and margin right directly on the title bar element. It sounds weird, but it effectively pulled the title bar up and out just enough to perfectly overlap the parent Windows border.
Huh. So it looks like one seamless unit.
Precisely. It made the whole window frame look authentic, not like pieces stuck together.
That's a great little trick.
Yeah.
Now, I remember hearing about one particular misunderstanding, almost an error, that actually turned into a good lesson about feedback.
Oh, absolutely. That was about the text color. or rather, the background for the text. My initial take was that the title bar text needed a white background block behind it inside the blue bar.
Okay.
But Atari's feedback was super clear, thankfully. They clarified, no, the dialogue content itself, the messages, that's what needs the white background.
Crucial difference.
Huge difference. So we switched to having the message area white with a subtle inset border and kept the title bar text white directly on the blue. It just underscored how vital really specific, clear feedback is. You can't just guess.
Totally. Okay, one last big piece. The glowing code blocks. That really cemented the whole hacker terminal vibe.
Yeah, that was the final polish. Deep dark background, that vibrant neon green text using our VAR, color neon green, of course.
Consistency.
Always. And a cool dual color box shadow, yellow and cyan, to give it that real intense glow. Plus subtle scan lines for that old CRT monitor texture.
Nice touch.
But the real headache, the ultimate debugging challenge, was the blinking caret, that little block at the end of the card.
Seems simple enough.
You'd think. But getting a tiny animated pseudo element to line up perfectly after potentially multiple lines of code inside a pre-tag, it can be maddening. We first tried targeting pre-code.after, thinking the code was nested. Failed. That's where the collaboration really paid off. Atari, looking closely at the structure, pointed out, hey, the text is directly inside the pre, there's no code tag in there.
The user spotted the structural detail.
Exactly. That sharp eye was the key. Switch the CSS selector to pre.after, added display, inline block and vertical align, baseline, and bam! Perfect blinking caret right where it should be. Felt like such a win.
Wow, that really shows the power of that back and forth.
It really does. Project Gibson, it ended up being about so much more than just CSS and PHP. It was genuinely about collaboration. Atari's really clear vision, their meticulous eye for detail, their patience, it all pushed the project to become this, I think, perfect blend of retro style and modern web tech.
So thinking about this whole journey, what's the takeaway for you listening right now? Maybe it's about how crucial that open communication is, getting specific feedback, being willing to adjust even tiny details. That's what can turn a complex technical job into something really unique, something special. It's about listening, truly listening to the creative vision to build something beyond just lines of code.